The sleek alien ship Celestial Dawn floated silently through space near Earth's solar system. Captain Valnara sat in her command chair, looking at glowing screens that showed her the usual first contact rules. She had done this 17 times before with other planets. Every time was the same boring story: primitive aliens would see their advanced ship, panic or worship them, then beg for help and technology. "Start sending the friendship message," she told her communication officer, a bug-like creature with 6 arms. "Get the gifts ready too." The captain stretched her long neck and yawned. This would be easy. Humans were probably still hitting rocks together to make fire. They would see the alien ship and think they were gods. Then they would trade all their planet's resources for some basic technology. Simple. But 3 hours later, something happened that had never happened before in Captain Valnara's long career. The human response came through their speakers with crystal clear quality. "Hello there, Celestial Dawn. This is Admiral Jake Morrison speaking for the Terran Defense Fleet. We have been watching your ship approach our system for exactly 14 days now. Thank you for coming in peace. We would like to invite you to formal diplomatic talks. Please fly to location 43.7X where our security teams will check your ship and escort you safely to our main space station." The alien bridge crew sat frozen like statues. Their mouths hung open. This was not supposed to happen. The human message kept going with military precision. Jake Morrison's voice was calm and professional as he listed detailed instructions about how to dock their ship, what security checks they would need to pass, and even what kind of air mixture they should prepare for their meeting rooms. First Officer Kekstar made a nervous clicking sound with his insect mandibles. His 4 eyes were wide with shock. "Captain, how did they see us coming? Our invisibility technology is supposed to be perfect. No primitive species should be able to." "I know exactly how good our stealth systems are," Captain Valnara snapped, cutting him off. She stared at her tactical screen in disbelief. 3 human military ships had appeared around them in a triangle formation. The ships looked crude and blocky compared to the elegant alien vessel, but they were clearly armed and keeping a respectful distance while maintaining perfect military positioning. The humans had not only detected their approach from 2 weeks away, but they had also surrounded them without being noticed. These were not the primitive rock bangers the captain had expected to find. "Send back a message saying we accept their invitation," Valnara ordered, trying to keep her voice steady. "And tell the science team to throw out everything they thought they knew about this species." Her communication officer's 6 arms moved quickly across his control panel. "What should we tell the Galactic Council about this, Captain?" Valnara watched the human escort ships adjust their positions with smooth precision. Their pilots were clearly experienced and well-trained. "Tell them we may need to rewrite the First Contact Handbook." The bridge crew exchanged worried glances. In all their records of meeting new species, nothing like this had ever happened. Usually, primitive aliens either ran away in terror or fell to their knees in worship when they saw advanced alien technology. Some tried to fight with crude weapons before being easily defeated. But these humans had been ready for them. They had tracked the alien ship across vast distances through space, prepared diplomatic protocols, and set up military escorts. They acted like they had been expecting visitors from the stars their whole lives. Dr. Zex Mora, the ship's alien anthropologist, checked her data files with trembling claws. "Captain, according to our long-range scans, this species should still be in the early stages of civilization. They should barely have discovered fire, let alone space travel." "Well, clearly our scans were wrong," Valnara replied grimly. She had a sinking feeling that this mission was going to be very different from her previous 17 easy conquests. "Prepare for docking procedures. And everyone stay alert. We are definitely not dealing with a typical primitive species here." The human space station New Frontier looked nothing like what the aliens expected. Most alien space stations were built like works of art, smooth, curved, and beautiful to look at. They were designed to make visitors feel peaceful and calm. But this human station looked like it was built by engineers who cared more about keeping everyone alive than making things pretty. Thick metal walls covered everything. Emergency backup systems were visible everywhere the aliens looked. Red warning lights blinked constantly. The whole place screamed, "dangerous environment," in a way that made the alien visitors very nervous. Ambassador Lisa Carter walked up to greet them with a big friendly smile. She looked completely relaxed, like she was welcoming friends to her house for dinner. But Captain Velnara felt more worried with each step she took inside the station. The gravity felt like someone had tied heavy rocks to her legs. Every breath of air tasted wrong and made her throat burn slightly. Her portable scanner kept beeping warnings about the temperature being too hot and the air pressure being too high. What humans called normal living conditions would kill most alien species within hours. "Welcome to our little corner of space," Lisa said cheerfully, pointing toward tables full of food and drinks. "Please help yourselves to anything you want. The coffee is fresh and hot." The alien scanning devices immediately started making loud alarm sounds when they detected the human refreshments. Captain Velnara's science officer quickly checked his readings and turned pale green with fear. Dr. Rex Moore, the team's expert on alien biology, stared at his data pad with shaking hands. His voice trembled as he spoke. "Ambassador Carter, our official records say your home planet Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. There must be some kind of mistake in our files. A Class 12 death world was the most dangerous rating possible. These were planets so deadly that the Galactic Council believed no intelligent life could possibly survive there. Most council members had never even seen a Class 12 world because just visiting one would mean certain death." Lisa Carter laughed out loud. The sound somehow managed to be friendly and terrifying at the same time. "Oh no, that classification sounds exactly right to me. Earth has massive volcanoes that can destroy entire continents when they explode. We have ice ages that freeze most of the planet solid for thousands of years. Giant space rocks crash into us and kill off most life forms. We have predators with teeth as long as kitchen knives that hunt us for food. You know, just typical Tuesday stuff for us." She said all of this the same way someone might complain about traffic being a little heavy on their drive to work. Dr. Rexmore's voice cracked with desperation. "But how did your species possibly survive all of that? How did you manage to develop intelligence and technology while living in such horrible conditions?" Lisa just shrugged her shoulders like it was no big deal. "Well, we humans are pretty stubborn creatures. When something tries to kill us, we usually find a way to kill it back or at least avoid it. Want to see some home videos from Earth? We have great footage of humans swimming with 20-foot-long sharks that could bite them in half, just because they think it's fun." The entire alien delegation took a step backward in horror. They collectively decided they absolutely did not want to see any home videos from Earth. Captain Velnara felt dizzy. "You swim with massive predators for entertainment?" "Oh sure," Lisa nodded enthusiastically. "We also jump off cliffs with fabric wings, climb the tallest mountains on our planet just to say we did it, and some humans even wrestle with bears. We have this thing called extreme sports where we compete to see who can do the most dangerous activities and survive." Dr. Rexmore frantically checked his data again. "According to our biological models, your species should have gone extinct millions of years ago." "Yeah, we probably should have," Lisa agreed happily. "But here we are anyway. Would you like to try some of our spicy food? Fair warning though, it might be a bit too intense for your digestive systems." The aliens looked at the warning lights still flashing on their scanners and politely declined the food offer. Council mediator Hixera had done this same negotiation over 3,000 times during her long career. She knew exactly how these meetings would go. Every single primitive species followed the same predictable pattern. She would offer them advanced technology and safe places to live on peaceful planets. In exchange, they would give the Galactic Council access to their planet's resources and agree to follow Council rules. It was simple business that always worked perfectly. The Galactic Council would be very happy to move your entire human population to much better worlds, she explained to the human delegation. With a wave of her hand, beautiful holographic images appeared in the air above the conference table. The images showed gorgeous garden planets with perfect weather, friendly animals, and unlimited natural resources. These worlds have stable climates that never change. The local wildlife is completely harmless. You will have access to all the food and materials you could ever need. These were paradise worlds that most species would kill for. Planets where nothing dangerous ever happened and life was easy and comfortable. Hixera had never met a species that turned down this offer. Admiral Jake Morrison leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms. That's very kind of you to offer, but we're really not interested in living in the safe neighborhoods of the galaxy. Hixera blinked her large eyes several times. Her translator device made confused beeping sounds. Excuse me. Did I hear you correctly? We were actually hoping you might have some more challenging work available, added Dr. Rebecca Mitchell, the human expedition's lead scientist. She pulled out her own data pad and started scrolling through information. Maybe some dangerous exploration missions. First contact work with hostile alien species. We noticed in your public database files that you have some major unsolved problems in something called the Omega Sector. Hixera's translator device started smoking as it tried to process several human words that apparently had no equivalent in any known galactic language. Terms like extreme sports, storm chasing, volcano surfing, and something called base jumping completely broke the translation software. The alien mediator felt a cold chill run down her spine. The Omega Sector contains quarantine zones. Those are areas with alien species that cannot be talked to or reasoned with. Ancient automated defense systems from dead civilizations that shoot at anything that moves. We absolutely do not send anyone there because it means certain death. Admiral Morrison's eyes suddenly lit up with excitement like a child who had just been told about a new playground. That sounds absolutely perfect. When can we start working there? Dr. Mitchell nodded enthusiastically. We've been getting a little bored lately. Our planet is nice, but we've already climbed all the mountains and explored all the dangerous places. We need some new challenges. Hixera stared at them in complete shock. You want to go to the places that are too dangerous for our military forces? Well, yeah, Morrison shrugged. What's the point of going somewhere safe? We can stay on Earth if we want safe. But these zones contain active war machines that have been killing everything for thousands of years. Sounds like they need some maintenance work, Dr. Mitchell said casually. We're pretty good with fixing broken machinery. And if they shoot at us, well, we'll figure something out. The human delegation started discussing the Omega Sector missions like they were planning a fun weekend camping trip. They asked questions about what kind of weapons the ancient machines used, how fast they could move, and whether the automated defenses had any weak points they could exploit. Hixera frantically started filling out safety waiver forms on her data pad. These were legal documents that basically said, if you die doing this stupid thing, it's not our fault. She had filled out maybe 20 of these forms in her entire career. But in just this one meeting with humans, she was already on her 40th waiver form. You do understand, she said desperately, that the mortality rate for missions in the Omega Sector is 100%. Every single person who has ever gone there has died. Well, that just means nobody has tried the right approach yet, Morrison replied cheerfully. We humans are pretty good at solving problems that seem impossible. By the end of the 3-hour meeting, Hixera had filled out more hazard waivers and safety disclaimers than she had processed in her previous 500 years of diplomatic work. She had also developed a severe headache from trying to understand why any species would voluntarily choose the most dangerous possible options. The humans left the meeting looking excited and energetic, already making plans for their first mission to the deadliest places in the galaxy. Hixera sat alone in the conference room, staring at the mountain of safety forms she had just completed, wondering what kind of insane species she had just agreed to work with. The ancient battlefield planet of Kepler 442c had been marked as a forbidden zone for over 3,000 years. Nobody in the Galactic Council was brave enough or stupid enough to go there. The planet was covered with deadly war machines left behind by the extinct Vortak Empire, robots designed to kill anything that moved. For 3 millennia, these killer machines had stayed dormant and inactive on their dead planet. But something had gone terribly wrong. The ancient war robots suddenly woke up and started expanding their territory beyond the planet's surface. They were building new machines and preparing to spread across the entire star system. The Galactic Council immediately started planning a complete evacuation of all nearby colonies. This was their standard response to impossible problems: run away as fast as possible and hope the danger didn't follow them. Then the humans showed up. The human response fleet looked like it had been built in the galaxy's most aggressive junkyard. Their ships were covered in thick armor plating, bristling with weapons, and painted in bright colors with intimidating names like Pain Train and Problem Solver. They looked ready for a fight. Staff Sergeant Mike Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the lead human ship, watching his team unload massive amounts of heavy equipment onto transport shuttles. The sound of machinery, power tools, and shouting soldiers echoed through the ship. "So these robot things," Rodriguez called out over all the noise, "they basically shoot at anything that moves, right?" Captain Velnara's desperate voice crackled through the communication system from her safely distant alien ship. "Sergeant Rodriguez, please try to understand what you're dealing with. These are not simple machines. They are military constructs specifically designed to exterminate entire species. They learn from every attack and adapt to any weapon used against them. They cannot be negotiated with, reasoned with, or shut down remotely." "Copy that, Captain," Rodriguez replied cheerfully. "Hey Jenkins. Go grab those big speakers from Storage Bay 3. And tell Patterson to put together his loudest metal music playlist." What happened next was 3 days of the most chaotic and loud battlefield action ever recorded in Galactic Council history. Instead of treating the ancient killer robots like an existential threat to all life, the humans approached them like they were playing an entertaining video game. Heavy metal music blasted across the planet's surface at volumes that could be heard in space. Human soldiers whooped and cheered as they destroyed war machines that had terrorized the galaxy for millennia. They started collecting pieces of destroyed robots as trophies, competing to see who could bring back the biggest or most interesting mechanical parts. The human engineers somehow managed to reverse-engineer million-year-old alien technology while eating their lunch. They would examine a captured robot for 20 minutes, then start building improved versions using spare parts from their ships. Captain Velnara watched in horrified fascination from her safe distance as humans did things that should have been impossible. They were not just surviving against the killer machines, they were having fun. "This is completely insane," she muttered to her crew. "They're treating a galactic-level threat like it's some kind of recreational activity." On the 3rd day, tech specialist Amanda Brooks emerged from a captured Vortak facility. She was covered head to toe in grease and mechanical fluid, but she had the biggest grin anyone had ever seen. "Good news, everyone," she announced over the radio. "We figured out exactly how these ancient death machines work. Bad news is, whoever built them originally did some pretty sloppy engineering work. Their power systems are inefficient, their targeting computers are outdated, and their armor has some major weak spots. Want us to fix the design problems and upgrade them?" The Galactic Council representatives stopped asking questions about human tactics and just started frantically taking notes. They realized they were witnessing something unprecedented in galactic history, a species that didn't just solve impossible problems, but actually enjoyed doing it. By the end of the week, the ancient battlefield planet had been completely cleared of hostile machines. The humans had not only destroyed the immediate threat, but they had also recovered valuable ancient technology and improved upon designs that were older than most galactic civilizations. The most terrifying part for the alien observers was that the humans looked disappointed when the job was finished. They were already asking if there were any other, interesting challenges, available in the galaxy. 6 months had passed since the humans first joined the Galactic Council, and Captain Velnara found herself in a situation she never could have imagined. She was standing on the bridge of a human military vessel called the Fearless, watching them approach what the Council had classified as an absolutely impossible rescue mission. A massive research station with over 3,000 alien scientists aboard had somehow gotten trapped in the ergosphere of a rotating black hole. The ergosphere was the area around a black hole where spacetime itself was being dragged along by the black hole's rotation. Nothing that went into that zone was supposed to come back out alive. The Galactic Council had already written off everyone on that station as dead. They were preparing memorial services and notifying families that their loved ones had been lost to one of the universe's most dangerous phenomena. But the humans had volunteered for a rescue mission. "This is completely insane," Captain Velnara muttered under her breath, watching Commander Tom Bradley plot their flight path on his navigation screens. He was acting like he was just parking a car at the grocery store instead of flying into one of the most dangerous places in the known universe. "Nah, this isn't that crazy," Bradley replied casually, double-checking his instrument readings. "Insane was that job we did last month with the sentient nebula that was trying to eat entire solar systems. That thing actually fought back and tried to argue with us. This black hole rescue is just basic physics and math." Bradley talked about flying into a black hole the same way most people would discuss fixing a leaky faucet, like it was just another routine maintenance job. The human rescue operation took 18 hours of the most nerve-wracking space flight Captain Velnara had ever experienced. But somehow, impossibly, it worked. The humans managed to extract the research station and all 3,000 scientists from the black hole's grip using a combination of advanced engineering, creative thinking, and what appeared to be sheer stubborn refusal to accept defeat. It always worked with humans. Every impossible mission, every deadly crisis, every situation that should have killed them, they found a way to not just survive, but to succeed. Later that week, Captain Velnara sat alone in her quarters, writing her official report to the Galactic Council leadership. Her hands shook slightly as she tried to find the right words to describe what humanity had become in galactic society. "Humanity's integration into our galactic civilization has required us to create an entirely new diplomatic classification system," she wrote. "They are not conquerors seeking to build an empire, they lack the patience and attention span for long-term political domination. They are not scientists in any traditional sense that we understand, they prefer to poke dangerous cosmic phenomena with increasingly sophisticated equipment just to see what happens." She paused in her writing and looked out through her quarters' observation window. On the deck below, she could see human engineers working on a massive war machine they had captured from some forgotten battlefield. They were painting bright racing stripes on its hull and installing what appeared to be decorative flame decals. "They are something far more terrifying than conquerors or scientists," she continued writing. "They are a species that genuinely sees the universe's deadliest challenges as forms of entertainment. They actively seek out the most dangerous situations possible because they find normal, safe activities boring." Velnara saved her report and started a new section with official recommendations for how the Galactic Council should handle humanity in the future. Primary recommendation: whatever the humans want to do, let them do it. Do not attempt to stop them or convince them to choose safer alternatives. But always maintain a safe distance from human operations, keep full medical emergency teams on standby, and for the love of all that is sacred in the universe, never tell a human that something is impossible. They interpret any statement of impossibility as a personal challenge and an invitation to prove you wrong. The human experiment, as historians would later call it, had succeeded beyond anyone's wildest expectations. The galaxy had become a safer place because humans volunteered for all the jobs that were too dangerous for anyone else. More of the universe had been explored in 6 months than in the previous 1,000 years because humans were willing to go places that terrified every other species. The galaxy had also become significantly more interesting, though not always in ways that other species appreciated. It had definitely become much, much louder. Human military operations could apparently be heard across multiple star systems, and they seemed to believe that every dangerous situation could be improved by adding more explosive devices and louder music. But as Captain Valnara finished her report and prepared to send it to Council headquarters, she had to admit one thing: life in the galaxy was never boring anymore.